Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is another Joe Dunaway professionally painted model kit by Sculpture of Narin. This is called Falanxer. As with some of Narin's kits, he creates names that basically doesn't make a lot of sense. Kind of like King Skull Valdez was another one that he had, put together. Accelerator, I don't know. So, Falanxer, I don't know where the, where the inspiration for that name came from, but here he is, a magnificent beast brimming with attitude and power. Let's dive a little bit deeper into this. So this is, I think, the second professionally painted Falanxer that I know of. I don't know how many Narin sold. As with garage kits, he never makes too many of them. The mold, of course, gives out over time, and then he can't make any more. You have to remold it, and it does take time to do that. Normally 30, 40 kits, maybe, are created in the initial run before he has to give it a break. So you have to ship it all the way from Thailand, and then it gets to Joe. I think he painted the other one first for another person. I think it was a lady. And so that was the very first paint up. Mine is the second. And he decided to go with this coloration scheme, more of an elder Falanxer, as you can see by the dreads over there. Narin has slowed down a little bit. He used to be very prolific with his Predator kits, creating so many different takes, so many different versions. But he's slowed down. I think maybe part of it just age. He has family. Kids are growing up, and on top of that, I think he's entered into a bit more of a professional relationship with XM. He had done one piece, Bad Blood, with Sideshow, and now he also had sold 2 pieces to XM. And so I think for him, perhaps he's looking into other things, and maybe he has other other interests. And I certainly don't begrudge him that, because when you have created over the years so many amazing, unique predators and ideas and concepts, it's okay, to move on to something else. Maybe you've finally, after all this time, explored everything there is to explore, for that subject matter. And maybe he's done it all, and certainly when you look at his portfolio and the library of his work, you can't argue that he's put together quite the comprehensive predator and predator alien sort of visual history, and so this one was released pretty recently. It was one of the latest kits he's put out that's unique, and this is the second one painted. To my knowledge, the second one of any type. I think Joe's the only one who's painted any of these up so far. I haven't seen any other examples. And again, sort of the details at initial inspection is just overwhelming. So here we have, Falanxer, a big, bulky predator with a huge cannon, exaggerated in a gigantic axe. Let's just take a look at the axe. It's so hard to know sort of where to begin with these pieces that are done by Narin and painted by Joe, because the detail is so overwhelming. But let's just start with the axe. You can take a look at, again, the beautiful gunmetal, rusted, weathered display, and then the plussing that Joe always manages to find to add to his work to make it unique. I think for the first one, he added chains. For mine, he added these little decorative beads in the skull. Very, very nice. Here's the hands, the wood shaft, all of that. Excellent detail. The base, again by Narin, pretty reasonably simple. Very nice, simple rocky base for him to stand on. I did an earlier piece called The Stranger, which is the elder predator from P2, and that was a much older kit by S. Hayes. And there's a lot of differences. I mean, Narin's is a lot heavier, much heavier. I would say almost like double the weight, and much nicely engineered, meaning that it comes in pieces, and then Joe is able to magnetize and put posts so that it comes together very nicely. It ships with a lot less risk. You know, the other one, you have to just ship in one piece, and thank God nothing broke on the way, but you know, it's very difficult. And here you can tell that with the years, Narin with more experience is able to just put his pieces together in a way that's a little bit nicer. You know, that definitely you know, gives you a better chance of making it, you know, in one piece. So here you go with the detail here. He sort of hunched over, so it's a little bit harder to kind of capture the chest. But you can see the skulls, the dreads, the awesome mouth, the detail there. I'm gonna try to go from a bottom up view. It looks really, really good. Again, 1/6 scale. Looking up top. Here it says dreads. These are not individualized. They're all sculpted out again. Very, very nice, of course. There's the backpack. Here's the back spines. The musculature there. Just showing you all of that. And then look at the clean, nice skulls and pouches that Joe's done. All of this work here looks beautiful, amazing. And then of course, here's the cables attached from the gun to the backpack. So again, this is a nice, unique Predator piece by Narin, as painted by Joe Dunaway. Has just so much attitude. You can kind of feel the beastly strength from him. Everything's sort of oversized, exaggerated. I think the thing that comes to mind is hulking, you know, when I look at this. And you know, you can appreciate again sort of the hallmarks of Joe Dunaway's paint job, which is the weathered metal, the realism of the metal, and then the unreal layers of airbrush paint and detail that gives it the depth. You know, that kind of gives it this feel that's real skin, the veins popping out. Again, you just kind of feel as close as you get to the paint job, it just gets better and better and better. Look at how close I am, and you can just see even more detail, the subtle veins and shades. Check this out. You can see the little tiny lines, you know, the little minuscule veins, you know, scattered around the big, thicker, obviously sculpted ones. The reason that Narin and Joe Dunaway is such a potent combination is because Narin sculpts so much ridiculous detail into his Predator sculpts, and then Joe manages to sort of highlight and bring out all of that detail. So it's a pretty crazy combination of the two. This axe handle is really, really close. And it's magnetized. So again, he's done 2 of these. Mine's the second. He tries to make each one a little bit different, a little bit unique. And so if you look at the first one on his webpage, it is very, very distinct. And I think the theme he decided to choose for mine, aside from the elder dreads, is the whole, just he went crazy with the quills, which I love it. Basically, he decided to give himself a challenge, which is how many quills can I put on this bad boy and still ship it in one piece to the customer. Look at all the quills along his arms, the back, of course the other arm. He has one along the leg, even down to the feet on both sides. Look at the quills here. Right, it's kind of crazy, right there. The quills here, and of course the tons of quills along the head and the crown. So this is, I think, of all of Joe's works that I own, and I own quite a bit, this is the Predator with absolutely the most porcupine quills, the most quills. Just bristling to the point where it was actually a little bit hard to even find a safe place to like touch him. you know, he's just brilliant with it. Here is little metal holes again that you can see. Hopefully appreciate. From the shoulder blades to the chest armor. And then, isn't that crazy? He even has quills on his chin, right down here. Kind of like the version of his facial hair. So basically, you know, for predators, we use quills like facial hair, you know. And this guy's definitely one quilly, hairy guy. He comes in many parts, you know, the feet, then the feet come as separate pieces, and then you put the legs and the pelvis, then the torso and the shoulders with the head, and then the cannon. Each arm is also put in separately. The hands are put in separately. The axe is put in separately. The backpack, the cannons. So he comes in literally, I think, 10, 12 pieces. When you put them together, it's so cunningly hidden. Part of it designed by Narin, part of it modifications by Joe Dunaway, that you can never tell. But it's so important that he does come that way, because, you know, that makes shipping him actually possible. And so I think not enough credit goes for the actual design. Look at him from the side. You're gonna make sure he doesn't lean backwards or fall. So he's balanced perfectly. The center of gravity is right over the center of the base. Even though he looks like he's about to tip over, he's in no danger of doing so. And again, a lot of credit goes to the thinking, the engineering of how all of these things have to fit together without seam lines and still look great, and still have to, you know, you can still have to create a situation where you can paint them and then ship them without breakage. And I think, knock on wood, you know, Joe has never shipped me anything in all the dozens of projects I've commissioned from him over the years. He's never shipped me a piece that's broken, which is I mean, I can't say that about anybody else. Literally, not even SciShow, XM, only Joe Dunaway. The master painter is also a master packager, and he doesn't do it over the top. You know, he doesn't put this in like, you know, 8-foot tall box, or, you know, like a 3-foot tall Home Depot box. I mean, he still does it in regular size packages. He's just so good at figuring out how to protect the predators, how to cushion them properly. You actually can learn quite a bit just from, you know, I've learned quite a bit just from unpacking his work and seeing the sort of the philosophy and how he goes about putting everything together, you know, is pretty amazing. So I don't think he gets quite enough credit for doing that. Here you can see this is a little bit of scar tissue on the knee. Every detail, again, brought out to life. All the speckles, all the dots. Let's take a look a little bit closer at this gun and all the details of this gun, of this cannon. Following all of that. So yeah, you know, I waited, I think, quite a bit for these two pieces, but he surprised me. I thought he was only painting one of them. He surprised me with another because I commissioned at the same time. So really, really happy about all of that. This is definitely going to stand out in my Narin Dunaway collection. Beautiful, beautiful piece, and definitely very, very worthy addition. Everything about him is just so unique. You know, the pose, the size, the face, the guns. And I just hope that Narin, you know, doesn't completely leave it behind. But if he does, then he left on a high note. Very, very beautiful. Turning him around one more time. Again, kind of long angle, long view to see the entire piece, what he looks like from every angle. And then we'll go a little bit closer. Mid view. So hopefully you can appreciate what all that looks like. All right. And then a little bit closer up. Follow this. Top and the bottom. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, almost 15 minutes. Shows you every little aspect, every little detail you can kind of appreciate again, so the texturing quality of the sculpt and the paint job. Falanxer from Narin, painted by the great Dunaway. Take care and see you next time.